Hey, terrible kids, before we get started, let me ask you a question. Have you ever thought about making your own podcast? Because if you have, let me tell you about Anchor. It's free and it's the easiest way to record, edit, and distribute your own podcast right from your computer. You can even add songs from Spotify. I'm telling you, you can make money from it. It's super easy and it's all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Who's the most terrible of them all? It's Hollywood Lean.
Hello and welcome to Everyone is Terrible. I'm your host, Hollywood Lean. It's my favorite day of the week. Joining me today is comedian and podcaster Ashley Ham. Hi, Ashley.
Hi. Wow, that was beautiful.
Now that's just my Oprah introduction. I like to throw a little vibrato in there.
Thank you for having me.
I know. Today we're going to be talking about celebrities that are terrible, plus their books. We got a lot of stuff going on today. We're going to be giving you guys some updates on Erika, Jayne, a little Beverly Hills, but mostly celebrities that are terrible to their fans. And that's why we have Ashley here. She is an expert when it comes to terrible celebrities. Let's start with Anna Kendrick.
This one is so interesting to me because there's this thing where some celebrities are like, they are owed their privacy if they're just bopping around and like someone comes up to them and is annoying. I understand why they would be like maybe cold or aloof, but there are some celebrities that I've heard are just terrible people, and Anna Kendrick is one of them. Like the only people who said good things about her are people who are just like blindly obsessed with her because she just has an awful vibe. We read her memoir for my podcast and she just is so unlikable. It's bizarre. Like she's so, first of all, she has that like 2012 Twitter sarcasm vibe. She like makes fun of her fans in the book. She like was in this cult classic movie called Camp.
I love Camp.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it because I was never a theater kid. So the thing that really like solidified my dislike of Anna Kendrick is this part of her memoir where she talks about Camp and she's like, the movie didn't do well, but it became sort of this like beacon for like misfit theater kids to like feel accepted. And then she talks about how one time someone approached her and was like, I loved you in Camp. I named my car and my dog after your character, Fritzy. And Anna Kendrick is just like, what a fucking weirdo. And it's like, okay, well, do you want these like theater misfits to feel welcome or do you hate them? Like, pick a lane, bitch.
Okay, Ashley, I have a little bit of a confession. So, like, I did hear that she was really rude to the people at Barney's, New York. Like,
I've heard that.
Yeah, I saw a TikTok where a guy said that he approached her and that she said to her publicist, like, why are the poor people talking to me? Like,
there was a comment on one of my videos that someone like took their niece or something to the Pitch Perfect premiere. Like somehow they were like involved in Hollywood or something. I don't know. So they were at the Pitch Perfect premiere and apparently she was like horrible to this little girl. And I'm just like, that does not sit right with me. Okay. If someone bothers you while you're drinking coffee and you're annoyed by it, like fine, you should be able to drink your coffee. But you're the star of this movie and it's the premiere of that movie. You're kind of on the clock. Be nice to people.
After that first initial, little spiff that she had at Barney's, the following time that she came in, the girl was like, I am not approaching her this time. So she let someone else go up to her. And then they came up and they were like, do you know who that is? And they were like, yeah, she's an actress. That's Anna Kendrick. And she was like, well, she was very pressed that I didn't know who she was. Like she basically yelled at me because I didn't know who she was. Like, what was that about? And the girl was like, oh my God, she has struck again. So I don't know. It's weird. She constantly monopolizes group interviews to make it about her size, her humor. Like, we get it. You're funny. Then there was reportedly a lot of co-star tension with her and Blake Lively on set. Like, I don't think she's that fucking talented and that funny for her to be acting like this.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Like one of my biggest things. So here's the thing. I like obviously like you love celebrity gossip, love celebrities, all that stuff. But I have like a real obsession with the fact that people who are awful continue to work. My thing was that I was always like, no one's saving the fucking world here. It's Hollywood. Like we're making TV. Relax.
You get to be the lead. You get to make millions of dollars off of this. And you're still like walking around being a bitch and blaming it on being socially awkward. I don't get it. It's not my
Yeah,
thing.
no.
I went on Reddit and I found a really funny comment that said, she also doesn't do nude scenes. So honestly, what good is she? You know, that was written by a man.
That's so funny. Oh my God. Oh yeah. And back to Blake Lively. I have actually like a lot of inside info from someone who I know who works in PR and did PR on a project that she was on, that she and Blake Lively could just barely be in the same room together. Like they hated each other. I don't know. And then the other thing that I was going to say is, yeah, the privilege, because people will sometimes come at me when I make like a TikTok or a joke or anything about people who I like think are terrible, and they're like, oh, so we're trying to cancel so and so now, you don't think they deserve to make a living? And it's like, no, I think they deserve to make a living. I don't think they deserve to make a living doing the coolest job in the world and being mean to everyone around them. Like,
Exactly.
I never said that I don't think that they should be employable at like a grocery store. Like
It's most likely because it's like we've been going through stuff like this for decades, like all sorts of injustices, people not getting what they deserve, people not being seen and heard. So it's like, if you're gonna open that door, let's not start with Anna Kendrick, okay? Like, let's not fucking go
yeah.
there, because this is not a good situation. One last thing that I wanted to touch on, it goes back to Barney's again. It's like this girl lives there and likes to like make everyone miserable that works there. She was holding an event. She walked in. She wouldn't speak to anybody. And then when they said, you know, Anna, like, did you want to try one of our new dresses? Like, we have this for you. Could you do this one? She looked at her publicist, and her publicist was like, can we speak outside? And then when they went outside, they were like, yes. And she was like, well, if you want Anna to wear something, it's $10,000. At the end of the event, they were like, whatever, like, you know, maybe that's, she gets offered clothes all the time. So she's like, dude, this is how I make a little bit of money. If you want me to wear your pieces, like, it does cost some money. I'm not hating on it. What I don't
This is
like
how
is
I make rent.
exactly, whatever. We'll give her the benefit of the doubt. But what I don't like is that, like, towards the end of the event, you know, someone was like, look, I just want to tell you, like, there was lots of people that couldn't get into the event. So I have boxes of like fan mail for you. Like, people wrote you gift cards and letters. And and she told the PR person to throw it all away.
I saw that TikTok and I was so, here's the thing. I hate junk. I'm a big no clutter person. I mean, well, if you don't look behind me right now, I hate like junk, except like my like wall of mugs. That's the only like crap I like to keep. So I get not wanting to take that stuff home with you, but it is so easy to say, oh my God, thank you. That's so cool. And then throw it out in the privacy of your own home. Like, it's so easy to do that and just like not make these people feel worthless and stupid.
Exactly.
Because like that shit piles up. And Marie Kondo said, don't keep paper around. And I don't want it, but like, I don't want people to know that I don't want it, you know?
Here's the thing with Anna Kendrick. Like, obviously she's been working since she was a child. She might be a little jaded. And then as far as like the talent thing goes, like, she can sing. She's got a little bird voice, you know, like, yeah, it's decent. You're not no Jennifer Hudson. And you definitely don't need to be grouped in with Amanda Seyfried for the new production of Wicked. Like, no, girl, you are not Elphaba. You're not even the freaking Glenda the Good Witch. Like, I don't think so. Like, no. We need real singers, and I'm not hating on Amanda Seyfried, y'all, because she is Mamma Mia, and she's so fucking good at Mamma Mia. So Amanda Seyfried, I am not holding you
The
terrible.
American way.
She's not even nominated for terrible, but Anna Kendrick, you're terrible.
I know. And like, meanwhile, Amanda Seyfried has such a sparkle. I love her.
Oh God bless Amanda Seyfried. I saw it Runyon Canyon and she was super nice. Who else is on your terrible list for people that are terrible to their fans?
Okay, one that I've heard, and also I want to clarify that when I do these are not people that I've had an encounter with. It's people that I've just either heard stories about, read their books, and then also I'm a big follower of the Instagram account Demois. Yeah, so it's a basically just like all types of unconfirmed celeb information, gossip, blind items, encounters. People submit their like when they spot celebrities, they submit them, and so every Sunday they do like a roundup of spotteds. And David Schwimmer who plays Ross on Friends, is notorious on Demois for like being so mean to anyone who approaches him and how he hates being called Ross. And so this one, a lot of people in the comments of my TikTok were very much like, well, I know someone who met him one time and said he was like cool, or I can't imagine that he's not nice, or like, why would you like it if someone called you by a name that isn't your name? And I was just like, I don't know, man. There's, first of all, dozens of stories of people like being told off by him, or being like him just being rude or obnoxious and like just like downright uncool. Second of all, he made how many millions of dollars on Friends? Like, I'm sorry. If you
just
paid
the
me,
last season, he was making $1 million per episode.
for $75 right now, Venmo me $75 and you can call me whatever name you want for the rest of my life. Like,
you can Venmo me $7 and call me Ross from Friends for the rest of the day, and I will respond. If you don't want to be called Ross from Friends, go do another fucking acting part. Like, go do something else where we're not going to be like, oh, that's Ross from Friends. Dude, get another job. What is wrong with you?
I also just think it was a show. It was one of the biggest, it was one of the most watched shows of like a generation. It was on for a full decade. Sorry, maybe people don't know your name is David.
Jen towards the end was like, this guy's become a fucking diva. Like, do you remember season 1 where no one knew us and now he's acting like a fucking prick? Like, calm down, Ross from Friends. Pivot.
I would love it if Jennifer Aniston said that. Calm down, Ross from Friends. Okay.
For real. Oh my God. Well, speaking of celebrity couples, like, I think I have my first nomination for most terrible, and I think I'm going to give it to Ben Affleck. Just because like, I am so sick of him and Jennifer parading around town. J-Lo needs fucking help. J-Lo's never been single.
J-Lo needs help and Ben needs help. They both
both need help. They're both like, Ben's a fucking drug addict. Like, cheated on my fucking co-star from HBO's Camping, Jen Garner. Like,
wait, really?
Yeah, oh yeah, like me and Jen are.
Oh my God, I like am obsessed with her.
Oh, she's amazing. She's like the best person I've ever met.
She like just like really has this vibe of like she's like very like deeply human, but also like beautiful and cool. But you know what I mean? Like, she doesn't seem like how Anna Kendrick, you're like, are you a person? Like, Jennifer Gardner seems like a person, you know?
She is a person. Like, our on-call time was like 5 a.m. at some points because we were shooting in the mountains, and she would bring in homemade muffins for all the crew. And like, we know she was making them because all you have to do is click on her fucking Instagram story and it's 4:00 in the morning and she's battering and making muffins and still comes in at 5 in the morning with an amazing attitude, shoots all day and all afternoon. And sometimes we would do night scenes, and she's just such a good person and such a good mother. So to like see her going through what Ben Affleck was putting her through, and then now it's like, now that we're not working together and he's still kind of now parading around J-Lo, and I'm just like Jennifer Garner is such a good person. She just doesn't deserve this. And going back to fucking J-Lo, like, bitch, you've never been single.
I did a post on the Celebrity Memoir Book Club Instagram about how Jennifer Gardner is like the most engaged woman of all time. Like, she loves to be engaged. I think she's had 5 square cut diamonds in
Jennifer
her
Gardner?
time. No, Jennifer Lopez. Sorry.
Oh, Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez has been engaged like almost as many times as Daniel Staub from Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Like, when she was supposed to marry Ben Affleck, when they broke up, she was with Mark Anthony like days later.
Oh, days. Days.
Then after they broke, I mean, she's just always. Before she was finalized with the divorce from Mark Anthony, she was with Casper Smart, the backup dancer. As soon as she was done with Casper Smart, I mean, it's just a constant.
It's
okay.
A red flag. It's a red flag. The fact that you can't be by yourself, period.
Yes.
Like, you've never had. The thing about it is, like, a lot of people are very scared of independence. Number one is usually financial. Like, I can't be independent. Like, I need to be married, or can't move out of my parents' house, or I can't be like that independent person because I'm still depending on other people. Bitch, you got your own money, you got your own work, your own music, your own jobs, your own company. You don't need a fucking man. Just like the biggest disaster of all time is I'm notoriously deeply attracted to Ben Affleck, and it's a problem. Like, I'll go, I like love him. And the reason I know that I need therapy is because it's not
the version of him where like the Goodwill Hunting Ben Affleck, where he's just like a stand-up
that doesn't
Boston boy who
exist.
gets married. Like full back tattoo Ben Affleck is my dream man. And I'm like, I need help. I need to take a walk back from dating. Like the number
Ashley,
of drug addicts that I've dated is
I can't.
it lines up perfectly. If you want to end the podcast now, I understand. Whenever people find this out about me, they're just like, I'm sorry, you like what?
He must be a fuck boy, and Ben Affleck is a fuck man.
Like, there is a darkness here. You're a terrible person, and I don't want to know you. I just want to fuck you.
On the flip side, let's celebrate someone, and this is who my terribly delicious goes to. Just because my show, we're like, you're terrible, you're terrible, you're terrible. We have to have a little bit of balance. It's all about balance, you guys. So you guys know my terribly delicious category. It's going to go to Travis Barker. It's going to go to Courtney and Travis because you know what? Travis is now flying again. But the one thing that we love more than celebrities, we love celebrity books. And guess what? I read his. And the fact that that man is on a plane right now with Courtney is a huge deal because, as we know, a couple years ago, he survived a plane crash that killed everybody on board.
So him and J.A.M. survived, but his assistant, little Chris, his bodyguard, and the two pilots all died. Then him and DJ.A.M. survived, but DJ.A.M. like
died
couldn't really cope with it and so he relapsed on drugs, and
he died a year later in New York with that really weird tweet that was like, in New York, like we never sleep or something, like it always goes down in New York or something. And then he died that night. It was so creepy. And Nicole Richie has never been the same since. I shouldn't have lived. I had 3rd-degree burns. Like, why the fuck am I alive? I don't want to be alive. Everyone is dead. Like the survivor's guilt. It's so sad. Guys, we are going to talk about our top 3 favorite books by celebrities, which is going to lead us into our book session. You guys, I'm not doing a fucking book club, okay? So don't get excited. You know, yes, we know how to read, and this is the episode letting you know that we do read. We are well-rounded people. We don't just watch TV all day. Yes, we read, but they just happen to be celebrity memoirs. Before we get into the book that we're highlighting today, which is Erika Jayne's book, I want to give you guys some updates on Erika Jayne. So like, you guys, right now, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is so fucking good. It's so good. The season is full of drama. And let me just say, completely disappointed in Dorit, completely disappointed in Kyle, completely disappointed in everyone who fucking flip-flopped that was like, this isn't right. I mean, she isn't who she says she is. Like, I can't believe this is happening. Like, we need to ask her about it. And then you guys meet up with her and you don't say anything. So shout out to Sutton for asking all the questions that we've been wanting to ask. Shout out to Garcelle for holding Erika's feet to the fire. I mean, she literally said, if Tom did this, then fuck Tom. Because that's really what it is. Erika Jayne is now being sued for $25 million. The judge said, it's fair game to the victims. Go after her. Tom has been federally disbarred and cannot practice law and has moved out of his Pasadena mansion and is in Burbank at adult living home. That's about $5,000 a month, 24-hour service, care, and any food options that he wants.
So I am not super familiar with the Housewives world, and it's only because I just feel very overwhelmed by it. Like, I've always wished I watched The Real Housewives, and this year Erika Jayne has transcended the Housewives universe. Like, because her book came out not that long ago, and then all of a sudden all this shit blew up, and I was so fascinated by it. And we actually got to talk to the ghostwriter of that book, Brian Moylan.
I actually just bought his book, The Real Housewives, like where it's basically like he's telling the backstory.
So he was very protective of Erika when we interviewed
That's what
him.
I don't like about him already. Sorry to keep interrupting.
And now watching it unfold more and more, we're like, I think for a moment, there was a brief moment in time where it was like, is Erika a little bit innocent? Like, she's not entirely innocent, and I still think no matter what, the money is not hers. Like, if someone steals $50,000 and hands you $40,000, that's not your money. Like, you still have to give it back to the people who are robbed. Like, it's just not yours. So there I was like a little, whatever. I don't know if she knows. I don't know if she doesn't know. I think this whole like, no offense, but okay, listen, I know that it's not right to talk about people in this way. I've dealt with dementia in my family, all that shit. This whole crying dementia thing with Tom, like the onset is not like that. Like I've seen it play out in real life. It's not like one day you're a practicing lawyer stealing money from orphans and like whatever widows, and then like the next day you can't put a sentence together. Like that's just not what happens.
Well, now
Anyway.
on the show, she's trying to say he fell off a cliff. There was an accident, and ever since that accident, his decision making has been off. He's changed moods, and like so they asked her about the accident on the show, and he's like, "Yeah, he fell off a cliff. Well, he drove off a cliff. Well, it was an accident. It was right by our house, the cliff behind our house." So people are like Google mapping the cliffs by Erika's house, and they're like, maybe this could be the cliff. I'm telling you, people are so fucking invested in this shit. It is insane. Hold on. So Brian was on your podcast to discuss Erika's book or The Real Housewives?
To discuss Erika's book. And now they're watching this kind of like tooth and nail defense of Erika. I'm just like, oh, this is not a great look for anybody.
And she's giving it all away with her body language, her behavior. When you say things like, yeah, it's all over, and it's not even over yet. It's the worst is yet to come. Yep, they're coming after me. Like it's only a matter of time. Like what she says, like she just like she knows she's going down. Like the way she talks about it, Erika is gonna go to jail, and we're gonna see this with Jen Shah. Which, by the way, I have an update. I spoke to her assistant, and I have an unreleased Real Housewives of Salt Lake City episode premiering next week to go with the premiere. An unreleased episode with Heather Gay. You guys are going to want to listen to this shit. Why the fuck did you film this season, girl? It's so incriminating. It's just so bad.
Not have stayed on the show. And also it wouldn't have looked incriminating to take a step back, to be like, hey, listen, I'm going through a divorce. So it would have been such an easy out. Like it's not like the information wasn't public yet. And she was like, oh, better step back from this season. And then everyone would have been like, oh, it's pretty damning that she stepped back from the season. Like this would have been such a seamless, easy thing to do. Another thing from her book is that she is so proud of the way that she's like involved in his career. Like she's really proud of the fact that he like views her as like an intelligent person, and he loves to discuss cases with her. So I'm just like, uh-oh, you have told us pretty explicitly that you know a lot about his business dealings.
And now on the show, you're saying the complete opposite.
Yes.
I don't know anything. The only person who has the answers is Tom. I was never told anything. Oh, you don't know where you live in Palm Springs, that you have a house there? I was never told where it was. I've never even been there. I don't know anything. Which one is it? Like, which one is it? Let's talk about more about the book, because I read like most of it, and I started getting in towards the end, and it's very basic book. It's shit she's already said, like, oh, I got the call for Housewives when I was filling up gas at my Aston Martin on Santa Monica and La Cienega, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here. That is the most LA shit I've ever heard. She does talk about.
So I was going to say the book is like a very like long form Wikipedia.
It is. Like, it's terrible. There's nothing good about it. And she talks about how Yolanda, she was bitching to Yolanda, like, I spent all this money on my music career. Like, it's not going anywhere. Like, I'm not signed to a major record label. Like, so she's like, I'm over here frustrated. So I go to Yolanda's house, and Yolanda hears my story and goes, why don't you be on The Real Housewives? And immediately texts like someone at Evolution, and 3 days later she had a meeting, and a week later she was offered a contract, and I'm like, okay, so you're fucking Cinderella, and it's a great big Hollywood beautiful story. Good for you. Yay, applause. And now we're seeing none of that is fucking true. Like, this is all really bad, you guys. Like, have you seen The Hustler and The Housewife?
Yes.
What did you think about it?
It's just fucking damning. I was like, this was a really good, like, I don't think that there was any good conclusion.
And the credibility was terrible. When you open up with Danielle Staub.
Yeah. I mean, no, there was nothing in it that like felt like real information, but having the like lawyer people and the victims explain just like what the key points were in like a very like 1, 2, 3, this is what you need to know, I was like, this is helpful information for me. Like, I don't understand any lawyer speak.
Well, what I liked about the documentary is that it was the victim's side. It was their turn to have a confessional. It was their turn to like be on camera and be like, this is what Tom did to me. Like, he literally gave me the runaround for years. I would be like, where is my money? And he'd be like, this judge has it. You know, he thinks that you're too young to have all this money. He wants to protect you from it. He wants to give you like an allowance. And it's like, this is my fucking money. I suffered for this. Like, these are plane crash victims. These are burn victims. The burn victim that I'm specifically talking about, you guys, this guy was sitting in his house playing video games when the house next door exploded. I mean, could you have been like minding more of your own business? Like, I mean, there is nothing more than like, you're in your fucking underwear in your own house, in your own living room playing video games. The house next door explodes and you get 3rd-degree burns all over your fucking body. You get awarded $20 million and you get $1 million and then never nothing again. What else did you like about Erika Jayne's book, or what else stuck out to you?
As much as I know that Brian was on Erika's side and like her hired hand, but like the fact that there's no humor in the career is insane to me. Like, she didn't really have a music career. Like, it was like a self-produced, like,
yeah,
her
it's self-produced.
Was no
and
different
like,
than,
and the dance charts, it's like way fucking different from the Billboard 100s. Like, you know, like if you release like an album in a subsection of music, bitch, are you in the top 10 of iTunes, like the Billboard 100?
yeah.
No, you're not. You've never have. Not even Expensive to Be Me, because only Bravo fans bought that shit.
Only Bravo fans. And it's just, I don't know, this like thing where she really thinks that she like created this
persona,
like
with Nike
persona that anyone cares about. I'm just like, I don't think that's true. Like, I know that I'm not like embedded in the Bravo world, but I really don't even think Bravo fans like genuinely consume it.
Yeah, you want this music career? All right, well, you know, you're getting an LLC. Then you get your LLC, you get your company, your name, and your company has $20 million in it. Like, girl, you are not Taylor Swift. The only person literally making that kind of money in music right now is fucking Taylor Swift. Not even real fucking singers that have been around for 20 years are making that kind of money in the music industry. Like, everything has changed.
Totally. I am excited to see her arriving at jail. Look.
Like, she's even gonna do the reunion. Like, it's crazy. I can't believe it. She's over here tweeting on the day that she gets sued for $25 million. She tweets, "Oh wow, this is boring." Like, bitch, the Ice Queen, I can't wait for that shit to melt. Like, Elsa, you're going fucking down, Barrett. Like, you're going down, girl.
It's like, this persona does not work that much. Like, it doesn't work in front of a jury, so good luck.
It's crazy. She hasn't shed one tear for the orphans. She hasn't said the people that have been affected by this. Like, my God, like,
she
what
can't
have
even
I done?
shed a tear. Like picture your own. Like, even just lie and use your own downfall as fuel. Be like instead of saying like think in your head,
fuck, oh my I'm God, going to jail.
I'll miss the bags and purses and shoes, and then say out loud, I feel sad for the orphans. Like, that's all you have to do.
She's so stone cold. She's so stoic. She's so statuesque. There's no life. Like, it's all like, yeah, this is what I have now. I'm like, you got a bungalow in fucking Hancock Park. That's beautiful. Spanish style villa with the pool in the backyard. Like, when she said, this is like all I have, me and my boyfriend looked at each other. We were like, we would fucking love to have that. Are you kidding me? That's a yard for the
like
dog.
1/3 of it.
There's a yard for the dog. There's a pool. There's a jacuzzi. There's an open style patio where like all our friends can sit down. Like, girl, get out of here.
It's like in the beginning of the pandemic. Remember when Ellen DeGeneres was like, I feel like I'm in jail. And everyone was like, go really? Ride your horse.
In your mansion, Ellen? God, she's terrible. She was voted most terrible in very, very early stages of this podcast because it's only been out for a year. The pod has only been out for a year, you guys. So speaking of that, thank you to everyone that's listened. I have a bunch of these shirts right here. So just join the fucking Patreon and write a review. I'll send your ass a shirt. So Ashley, what are your top 3 favorite celebrity memoirs?
Holly Madison, Down the Rabbit Hole.
So you're going to pick all my picks is what you're saying, Ash. I saw your stories earlier and I'm like, Jenna Jameson was on there and I'm like, that's one of my picks. Jenna Jameson, How to Make Love Like a Porn Star, because I'm from Vegas and it is about like growing up in Vegas and like, just doing all sorts of really bad things.
Yes, I loved Holly's book. I think I take a lot of what she said with a grain of salt. She's very like a little bit woe is me about a lot of it. And I'm just like, I don't think that I'm not saying I think that these girls who enter the mansion are groomed. I think it's a very exploitive situation. I'll say that. But I do think that she approaches it with like a very bizarre kind of thing where she's like, I was kind of like forced to do these things against my own will and all these other girls are just dumb sluts. And I was like, okay.
No, because
sure,
you
Holly.
were like hardcore on landing him like a fucking eagle. Yeah. You were like, I am gonna get a baby. That is my man. I'm the last bitch he chooses. And she wasn't. Okay, I feel bad for taking away from your list though. So give me your list.
Oh yeah.
Give me your list.
And then I was going to say Jenna, like we just read hers this week and I felt like it was the exact opposite of Holly's. Like it was so positive. It's so sex positive. It's so like, I mean, she just endures so much and then comes out just like a phoenix. And I know that now she's like kind of a right-wing nut, but
she's kind of crazy now. I still want her on the podcast because I really want to talk to her about like remember when she like collapsed 90 pounds on crystal meth in that tattoo shop?
75 pounds.
And the guy was like, I'm putting you on a plane and like getting you the fuck out of like this whole state. Yeah. Those are our celebrity book club recommendations. As far as like most terrible for the week, like honestly, I want to name Lisa Rinna for most terrible because here's the thing, like Lisa Rinna is a great housewife, but she also gets on my fucking nerves. Last season, you're so worried about who Denise Richards had sex with, but you're over here coddling Erika Jayne. Oh, don't ask her those questions. Oh, we just have to be there for her and wait for the truth to come out. Y'all, this is not right. Lisa Rinna is nominated for most terrible for this shit.
Oh, I want to bring Olivia Munn to the table because we read her book last week for our podcast and she's awful. Truly never says a good thing about another woman ever. It's like a book for like teenage incels and nobody else. And I just think it's like an awful piece of work. Yeah.
I mean, other than Erika Jayne and Tom Girardi, they're like the most terrible forever. I think I'm going to give it to Lisa Rinna. Just to keep it light and in the mood. Lisa Rinna is the most terrible for me.
No, I'll give it to Lisa Rinna. One time I saw her on a hike when I lived in LA and the filler in those lips, I mean, she deserves an award.
I don't know. Lisa Rinna, we're tired of your shit, okay? You need to own it when it comes to Erika Jayne as well. So you're voted most terrible. I want to thank my guest, Ashley Hamm. She is from the podcast Celebrity Memoirs Book Club.
Yeah, listen to Celebrity Memoir Book Club. You can find us on TikTok, Celebrity Memoir Book Club, Instagram, and then wherever you find podcasts, Spotify, Apple.
And I want to thank everyone that's contributing to the Patreon. You guys, if you want to join the Patreon, you do get something out of it. You get a full uncut episode. We record for an hour. I want to thank Elizabeth Perla, Stephanie C., Chantel, Ashley, and April for donating to the podcast every month. I want to thank Shaban, Cherie. I want to thank Kate Chastain from Below Deck. She's one of the Patreon members. Michelle, Nicole, Holtman, Monica, Holly Brocky, I love you. Melissa Bird, Mikey P, Jean, welcome. I want to thank Ashley Hamm once again for coming on the podcast. If you give me a review and join the Patreon, I will send you a free t-shirt. Lots of stuff coming up. I'm going to be covering White Lotus next week. The unreleased episode of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. We're going to be doing a lot of Bravo stuff next week.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun.
It was so fun. And everyone is pretty terrible. So we'll see you guys next week. Love you. Bye.
Who's the most terrible of them all? It's Hollywood Lean.